So I'm still dismantling this thing. This is the heat exchanger for the heating system. It's got three massive squirrel cage blowers on it and this great big honking radiator. I don't know if you can see that, but it's big. So 2 feet by 1 foot by probably 6 inches deep, and it didn't put out any heat. I don't know why, even with those fans on high, it never really pumped a lot of heat out, so hoping to do better. Not sure what. Got some ideas. Had to pull it all out because I couldn't get the aftercooler and the radiator brackets finished with it. It was in the way effectively. So anyway, I pulled that out. Yeah, so the brackets were all finished. I've had it all bolted in there and pressure tested the radiator. Gave it a coat of lipstick. Got a new bracket underneath, ready to go back in. Aftercooler. So this is the radiator. This is off a Kenworth T800. It's only 32 odd inches wide, which fit nicely between the frame rails. The Freightliner radiator was far too wide, so I grabbed one off a Kenworth. And this is the Freightliner aftercooler, which fits not too badly. It's not ideal, but having one custom made was going to be a couple grand, so I just made this one work. And I built a manifold for the turbo, so I've extended the manifold. I used Schedule 80 heavy wall steel pipe, welded that up, and I've got the insulating, like the asbestos tape wrap on it to keep the heat away, or at least to keep the exhaust charge hot until it gets to the turbo, because the hotter it is the better. So this will also keep the under hood temperatures down a little bit. I hole sawed a hole in the frame there, and it goes in this front compartment. So there it is, ready to bolt the turbo on. I'm just waiting for a gasket. And I pulled the back suspension out. If I'd known I was going to pull the suspension, I wouldn't have redone the diff underneath the bus, because that was a brutal job. The thing weighs about 300 pounds. And there's no room in there at all. It was quite the ordeal. And then here I go pull the whole thing out anyway, but there you go. I was going to do some blocks into the axles, but I talked to the Ridewell suspension guys, and they recommended that I put a block between the frame and the suspension. So I did that instead. It all came out as a unit. It was actually pretty easy to pull out, just a bunch of bolts. And then I just put a couple of little dollies underneath and rolled it out. So yeah, I'm going to use some heavy wall pipe, just lay one on each side, and while it's out I'll do new drums, shoes, brake pots, airbags. I'm going to replace the slacks with automatic slacks, and I might do a remote greasing system so I can reach them all without crawling under there. The new driveline is all sealed. There's only going to be one U-joint. The old style rear end takes, I couldn't get the new sealed U-joints to match that, so they actually had to machine down a big ass yoke for me to make that fit. So anyway, that'll have a U-joint, but other than that one, the driveline will be maintenance free now. That'll be nice. Yeah, so and the Panhard rod was completely shot. There was no, I don't know if you can see that, but the bushing was completely pounded out. Surprised me, actually. I didn't notice that. It didn't steer too bad, but anyway, I guess it'll steer better now.